Each of you in this room is committed to the economic growth of California and the prosperity of its citizens. We're fortunate to have with us tonight the leader who has stepped forward to champion that goal for the next 4 years. Please join me in welcoming the 34th and the 39th Governor of the great state of California, Edmund Jerry Brown.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the applause. I'm going to need it in a couple of months, so keep in reserve some of your pent-up enthusiasm. So we'll have plenty of uses for it. And don't worry, I know you haven't had your meal yet, so I'm going to be respectful and not talk very long. I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back in every sense of the word. I spoke at the LA Chamber, 30 years ago, a long time ago. And unfortunately, things in some ways have gotten worse, but in other ways they've gotten better. And I also want to just take note of the fact that I got my start in politics right here in Los Angeles, running for the Community College Board of Trustees. And I have to tell you, the most exciting day of my life was winning the primary for the LA Community College Board. That was very exciting. The results came in over at the LA City Hall, and to run against 124 people and to come in number one, it's more exciting than being elected governor, I have to tell you that. Except that getting elected governor in my 7th decade is even more exciting, because I've been in the wilderness. I've gone to Calcutta to work with Mother Teresa. I've gone to Africa with Linda Ronstadt. I've been party chairman. I've been expiating all the sins of my first 8 years. So now, fully redeemed, I come back to do the best I can to get our state back on track. And that's my goal. That's why I'm here. I haven't extirpated all my wily devices of being a politician, but I'm going to do my best to tell it straight, to lay out before the people of California what they need to do and what they need to avoid. And what we need to avoid is evasion and obfuscation and political deals that don't build for the future. That's really where we got to start. Now, we had a budget that, has been full of gimmicks, and, expectations of revenue that never arrived and budget reductions that never materialized. And I understand why that is. It's not that easy to make serious cuts. It's not that easy to find more revenue. It's a big, complicated operation called state government. It's intimately involved with city government and county government and the schools. So there's a lot of moving parts here. And for the last several years, we've had some real challenges. In part, that's because of what people have done or not done in government, but it's also due to the Great Recession, where the accumulated wealth destroyed was over $10 trillion for our country, and probably in California, 12 or 13% of that. So we're up against some very unusual circumstances. I'm told that this decade, this is the first time in the history of California where the number of jobs are fewer after 10 years than greater. Every decade, there's always been more jobs at the end of 10 years than before. We've now lost more jobs than we had 10 years ago. So this is a real challenge to create jobs, to invest, to work together, to overcome all the antagonisms that hold us back. And I just have to report the experience coming back. I feel like Rip Van Winkle. Wasn't he gone for 25 years? And I came back. And it was not easy coming back, I had to claw my way up, rung by rung. Anyway, I got here. And going back there to Sacramento and going in the Democratic caucus, and then going down the hall and going in the Republican caucus, this requires some kind of shuttle diplomacy. I don't want to analogize to what two countries this makes me feel like, but the perceptions, the worldviews, what's important are very different among the members of our respective two parties. And they're all sincere, they want to make things happen, but in a democracy we have to find ways to accommodate the various claims that people make, and those claims really are quite extensive and very difficult to mediate. So as I look at this problem of our $25 billion deficit, that's 29% of our general fund. That's a big deficit. It is, however, smaller than the deficit of our neighboring state of Texas. They have a bigger deficit. So all you people who think it's better over there, it may be in some respects, I'm not denying that, but they do have a bigger deficit. So let us be thankful for small favors. But still, taking care of 29% isn't easy because a lot of the budget you can't cut. There's a lot of things that are fixed. And so when you actually look at what you can actually get your hands on, it's a fraction of the budget. So instead of having a 29% challenge, it feels more like a 60% challenge. And what I've tried to do is to lay out half cuts and half, we don't call them taxes, they're revenue extensions. And they're taxes, but you've already been paying them. You're paying them tonight. And from what I can tell, people are feeling pretty good here tonight. And you'll feel just as good if you vote to extend them another 5 years, I promise you. In fact, you'll feel better because the alternative is not good. So I've laid out a plan. I'm still meeting with both caucuses. I find both parties hesitant as they look at either side of the equation. It isn't that easy. But let's look at the big picture. And again, let me just look back to that time when I was governor before. The gross state product, the production of annual wealth, was a few $100 billion. This year it'll be closer to $2 trillion. And so we have all these issues about regulation and taxes and different lawsuits and all these things that give business so much trouble. And those have been around. And I'm going to work on all of that. But we want to keep our eye on the ball. This is a very productive, creative place. People still come here from all over the world. And as they come here, they lend their energy and the freshness of their own sense of what life holds. And so I like to combine a sense of the past. My own forebears came here, both around the Horn, coming up the coast of South America, over by covered wagon across the plains, just after the gold rush. And it was tough. It was a lot tougher then than it is now. And people have kept coming every decade. And they always found the wherewithal to overcome. And now it's different. When you have 38 million people, it's a lot different than when there's 25 million or maybe 10 million. So it's getting more crowded, but we still have unimagined potential. What I like to say is unspent potential. We have the dreamers, we have the inventors, we have the entrepreneurs, we have so many good school teachers and firefighters and policemen and small business, regulated businesses. I mean, we've got a lot going here. Most people in the world would give almost anything to be able to be a part of California. So we should celebrate that and feel good about it. So that's all. We got a few problems. It's only $25 billion, and what's $25 billion out of $2 trillion? It's a little bit. It's serious, but I think we can make it. And I just want you to know, I'm going to level with you. I'll tell you as straight as I see it. I'm going to try to present a plan that will get, hopefully, Republicans and Democrats. I don't want a one-party plan. I want a California plan. I want a plan that will build for the future, not steal from it. And I hope you all help me, and I'll help you, because I've been around this state a long time. I like it. I like being in politics. I like the ups, I like the downs, and I like the kind of impossibility of it. And right now, it's not clear how we're going to get to the promised land, but we're going to get there. And the LA Chamber is going to lead the way, and you're going to show the State Chamber how to get there. And we're going to get there together, not as separate entities, but as Californians first. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you. I have to say one more thing. You know, I don't use these teleprompters because I don't believe in them. But also, I don't like these glass. You know, this is kind of like the Academy Awards walking down the. It's kind of strange. But anyway, I guess that makes it all feel more dramatic. And I kind of feel that way. I'm just excited to walk down the runway and back. Thank you very much.